morning, sexy friends. I'm here again. Today, I decided to go ahead and make some Bolognese sauce, and I'm going to cook my lamb in that. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I took most of the things out that I'm going to need over there on the other counter, and I'm going to get my chopping boards. I use one for the meat, so I'm going to sit that in the sink with that, and then the other one I use for vegetables right here. Okay. Rinse that off a little bit and wipe it off. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do, and I make my own sauce, so I'm going to go ahead and put some water in the pot. The water is so that I can boil my tomatoes. I do them fresh from the tomatoes, so I'm not going to use a tomato sauce or anything like that. Okay? So, I have some water in here. Okay. Rinse my hands off again real quick. Alrighty then. I'm going to get started on my vegetables. I don't know how to put this down low enough. Here's my chopping board. Okay. Let's wipe that off. I have a bunch of different kinds of tomatoes. I'm going to go ahead and sit this in the sink so I can use that for my trash. And I always just cut them in half, as you can see. Okay. I just cut them in half, and I throw them in there. They're in a strainer in the sink. So, I have some more tomatoes. Okay. I just want to get the good parts. If there's any bad parts, I usually just try to cut them off. And then I chunk them in there. But I like this sauce. I found it on Blueprint. I think it used to be maybe craftsy.com. But now it is called Blueprint. Okay. Check those out. Those look pretty good. And again, I'm just cutting off all the bad parts. And the purpose for me heating up the water is because I boil them to get the skins off of them. I don't like them with the skins, and so I do it the easiest way that I can. I go ahead and I boil them for a few minutes, and then the skins come off. Once the skins come off, I let them cook a little while, and once they cook a little while, then it's easier for me to chop them up. And I usually just use just like a hand chopper. I actually got this from Pampered Chef, but this is what I use to get down in there and chop them up. Okay, I needed to get that out. Alrighty, let's see. Okay, that one's empty. That's got carrots, and this is some more tomatoes. And make sure I'm not cooking too many of them. Okay, once once the skin comes off that one, it'll be okay. This is a wonderful dish, and it's especially good in the spring and the winter time. Okay. Basically, all it is a nice tomato sauce, but it's quite delicious. Quite delicious. Let's put that over there. Give these a quick rinsing. Okay. Alrighty. And then I'm going to put these in the water. And let the water begin to boil. Okay. These are all the tomatoes that I just cut up. And what's going to happen is they're going to boil down. Meanwhile, while I let that begin to boil, I think I'm going to go ahead and get started on some more vegetables, like the onion and the carrots. Try to get them ready to saute, because what I do is I saute them. I guess I should use a potato peeler, vegetable peeler. Okay. And the ingredients call for carrots, and you can put zucchini or other kind of vegetables if you like, but it does call for zucchini. I don't have any zucchini at this time. I don't even have any frozen, so I'm just going to leave the zucchini out. And I'm just going to use the carrots. And I believe it calls for the carrots to be maybe diced up. So I'm going to go ahead and dice them. And the onions, of course, chopped up. So I'm going to go ahead and chop those up too. I have like a piece of an onion. It just depends on how much onion you like. It was a pretty big onion. So I'm just going to chop up that half. And if I need more, I have some dried carrots that I dried in the dehydrator that I could use. And I also have some dried carrots that I dehydrated in the dehydrator also. So I'll go ahead and take care of all this. I'm sure I should have enough. All right, let's see. I don't usually cut these in any particular type of way. Just want to make sure they're kind of small enough. And all of this is going to cook down into the sauce. So I usually just saute them to get them ready. And this way, when I'm ready to put them in the sauce, all I got to do is drop them in there. Okay, some other ingredients that are in it is the Worcestershire, and it's just a little bit, half a teaspoon. It calls for half of a teaspoon. So that's not going to be a problem. I got Worcestershire out here. Oh, and I also put in the cinnamon. It It calls for just a pinch of cinnamon. All right. So we have our chopped up carrots. Okay. I usually saute in a little bit of olive oil. That wiped out. That pan going. Get it turned on. My tomatoes still have not started boiling. So I'm going to go ahead and chop up this here onion. It's a pretty large onion, so should be okay with that. Now the Bolognese sauce, when you make it, it usually takes a few hours to cook. I usually cook mine for about anywhere from 2 to 3 hours. I mean, you can let it cook longer if it's not the consistency that you want. But when you start it, you have to also account for the steaming time. And then you got to let it stew down. So it stews down and it gets just a little bit thicker. And that is what takes the time for it to stew down and get thicker. There we go. Now we got some onions. Okay. Now let's sit that down there. And I have a little bit of garlic. Okay. Get that open. This is some oregano that I have. I have a little bit of cinnamon. Okay. And then, of course, I have Worcestershire. Don't know what you call it, but I call it Worcestershire. It could be Worcestershire, Worcestershire. I'm not sure. But I do call it Worcestershire. Okay. So my tomatoes are boiling quite nicely. They've started boiling. I'm just turning them around a little bit so the skin is down in the water. And this way, it'll be easier for the skin to come off when it gets a little softer. Okay, we're going to give that a few minutes. And our oil should be hot enough, I guess. Not quite. Well, maybe. Okay. All right. So I'm going to put my carrots in here. And I don't have any zucchini, like I said. So I think that maybe I'll get some of the celery that I chopped up. And I'm going to add some of this to the tomatoes once I peel all the skins off, if I don't forget. All right. So, basically I just have the onions in here. And the carrots. And I'm just moving them around a little bit. And then see, it comes off pretty easily. Uh-oh, did I drop it back? Okay, right there. Okay. Okay, you just got to go through and see which ones are ready. And I just take the skins right off of there. Okay? Skins peel off pretty easily. I like that. Ooh, that's getting hot. And I'm just using a nice pair of tongs I actually got at Bed Bath & Beyond to take the skins off. It just slides right across the skin and grabs it just like that. Okay, pretty simple. And I cut the tomatoes in half because I don't like to cut them up any smaller. And usually it takes a lot longer when I have them as whole pieces when I get ready to chop them up. So I always just cut them in half so it's already started the chopping process basically. I don't have to worry about trying to chop a whole tomato up or letting it cook that much longer before I can chop it up. Alrighty. I think most of them are finished. Alright, let's see. I think all of them are done. I think I got them all. Looks like I got all the skin off of that one. There we go. All right. I think I'm done. Okay. If there's any more, I guess they will curl up and come to the top. And I can just grab them off of there then. Let's dump this in our little bag there. Keeping all my trash together in one bowl. All right, I'm going to let them go ahead and do their thing. And I just saute the vegetables until they get, I saute the vegetables until they get kind of tender and a little bit translucent. You know, they're just starting to get that way. So those are quite done enough. And I have the already chopped garlic there, and I put about a teaspoon in there. Teaspoon should be good. All that will go into the pan in a little bit. Sometimes I put it all in there at once and then chop it, but I think I'm going to wait to chop it up. Chop up the tomatoes a little bit so they can cook a little quicker. They're already soft, so it's not going to be too much longer. And I also have this extra water on the side, so when it starts boiling down, once the water starts going down, I'll be able to refill it as I need to. Whoa, that burned. Be careful, not let it pop up on me too bad. All right, I'm going to go ahead and prepare the meat, and I'll be right back, everyone. So I have chopped up my tomatoes as good as I could. Okay, chop them up. They will also boil down some more, okay? So now that that is done, I'm going to go ahead and drop the tomatoes and onions in here. That's the tomatoes and the onion. Okay, and I think that's going to be enough onion. I do have some celery here. I think I have some little bits and pieces at the bottom. Of the celery. I'm just going to drop some of that over there. Again, this is celery that I dehydrated myself, okay? Then it asks for oregano. I'm going to put a little bit of that in there, okay? All right, I'm going to put it in my hand first and then sprinkle it over there. And that's Italian seasoning. We'll sprinkle just a little bit of garlic powder in there. And a little bit of onion powder. Just a little bit. Okay. And then stir that up. Oh, and I put a pinch of sugar in there because that cuts the acid, I heard. Let's put just a pinch of the cinnamon and about a half a teaspoon of Worcestershire. Okay. And then we're just going to go ahead and let that cook. Okay, friends, I'm going to go ahead and cut up the lamb. So let me turn this down a little bit, okay? And I have some lamb here. You can use stew beef. You can use chicken. Chicken I wouldn't put into like, maybe the last 30 to 40 minutes of cooking. If you're going to use breast, if you're going to use maybe the bone-in chicken, I would probably put it in an hour before it's done cooking. When you think your bolognese is almost done, about an hour to being done, and you only want to cook it another hour or so, then throw in your chicken. And that should take care of that. Okay, this is my meat board, and this is the bolognese, and it's going to be lamb bolognese. Okay, let's throw those in there. All right, I like to cut them up a little bit, and I also like to trim the fat off because I don't like the taste of the fat. The meat with the fat does not taste good at all. A little bit is okay, but I don't want to taste much of it at all. So I'm always very careful. I try to get lean cuts, but of course, you know the butcher, he's trying to make a sale, so he's going to throw in some of those with the fat on it. I don't eat pork, so for those of you who don't mind pork, I'm quite sure you could make this with pork also. Just cut up your pork into chunks, I would assume, or however you like it. And that way you can just throw it right on in there. Okay. What I'm doing is rinsing the meat off. Just want to make sure it's nice and clean. I rinse it off with a little bit of warm water. There. I'm going to let this cook for about 30-40 minutes, and then I'll go ahead and dump the meat over in there so that it'll have a couple hours to cook also. See you guys then. All right, hello everyone. I am back and I am just going to take the meat and I'm going to go ahead and add it to my sauce. Okay, the sauce has been cooking for an hour now. Okay. Let you guys get a good look at that. Okay. And that is the lamb meat that I had. Okay. In case some of you are wondering what this is on the back of my arm, excuse me, I am diabetic, and therefore I wear what is called a Freestyle Libre. It changes every couple of weeks, and I have a little machine that actually takes my sugar so I don't have to prick my finger, and it gives me my numbers. I love it. But anyway, I have the meat in here. I'm giving it a quick stir. And then I'm going to go ahead and let that continue to cook for about another hour. So I set the timer for 1 hour, and I'll go ahead and see you guys in an hour. All right, all my friends. So I'm back. I'm getting ready to check it. It's been on for about an hour and a half. So it's about time for me to check it. I'm going to put a little bit of rice on in my microwave rice cooker. And then we're going to go ahead and check that meat and see how that Bolognese is looking. All right, everyone, here we go. Whoa, that's hot. Okay. Oh, it looks like it done simmered down here. We lost a lot of liquid. And as you can see, looking quite good here. I don't think I need any more liquid. Let me go ahead and check some pieces of meat. Oh, that's good and tender. Oh, that's good and tender. Yep, that's good and tender. Okay. I'm going to put just a little dabble-dooya of liquid in here. I just want to make sure I have enough liquid so that everybody can put a little bit over there. That was just about 3/4 of a cup of water. Just want to make sure everybody has enough sauce to put over their rice that I'm making with it. And you know something that would go really good with this is some cornbread. Oh my goodness. That would be quite delicious and nutritious. But I don't think I have everything that I need to make cornbread. So I'm going to skip the cornbread this time. All right. I'm going to cut that off and leave the lid on it for a few minutes. And in about 20 minutes, I'll have my rice done and I'll have a plate fixed. And you guys can see how it looks. Okay, everybody. I am back in the kitchen and everything is done. I have taken out the rice and I'm getting ready to fix my plate. Okay. So, this is my rice over here. Hands are still a little bit wet here. Okay. This is my rice. It just came out of the microwave. And this is just one of those basmati rices because I like them. And of course, we have our star of the show. And I might need to get a different scoop for that one. Alrighty. Mmm, that looks so good. My goodness. Love it. Love it. All right, guys. I have made my plate. And I am getting ready to sit down and eat. I think you can see it. It's got all the vegetables in it, all of the meat, and everything else. I'm going to sit down and enjoy. You guys have a lovely day. Thank you so much for joining me. And do not forget to hit like and subscribe so that you can always get the new videos that come out. Thank you. Have a great one. See you soon.